Kahley founded Pilates by Kahley in Kansas City in 2005 with the mission of helping others change their bodies and their lives. Her practice was instrumental in her recovery from a liver transplant. She is nationally recognized for her Pilates knowledge and working with individuals regarding injury prevention and rehabilitation. She works with clients from young athletes to breast cancer survivors to the Kansas City Chiefs. She was given 90 days to live without a new liver. After the short video, she will share her story.
Take a nice cleansing breath in through your nose.
Pilates is a practice in precision and persistence.
Push the air out, pull the abs in.
For Kahley Schiller, it's a passion.
Passion of helping others, passion of being a teacher and being able to give others what I feel like they need. 7, 6, good.
For the last 18 years, she's shared that passion at her studio in Overland Park.
When you learn the Pilates method, it doesn't just teach you how to become physically stronger, it's also mentally stronger.
Schiller credits that strength with her life.
It's hard, but I know I was supposed to go through it for a reason.
4 years ago, she was diagnosed with end-stage liver failure. Doctors gave her no more than 90 days to live.
Even though there is a tragedy or darkness, that there is still light at the end of it.
Schiller got a transplant that saved her life. Post-surgery, she says Pilates brought her back to health.
I rehabilitated myself through the Pilates method and the core work that we do.
Now, she uses those same methods to help other people. People like Chiefs defensive tackle Tershawn Wharton.
She's gonna push you and motivate you.
Wharton has been working with Schiller since his rookie year.
She works those little muscles that we don't really get to as a football players because we're so kind of working everything together.
Good.
After he tore his ACL last season, he says sessions with Schiller helped him get back on the field faster.
She's like a coach to me, like another football coach.
That appreciation is hung up on the wall. Wharton gave Schiller his jersey from the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I gave her a jersey. Somebody that in Kansas City that I really care about and helped me along the way of my path.
Legs together.
A path paved by persistence and practice. And Schiller says she's glad she could share her passion to help.
I feel like we're all supposed to go through things for a reason. Like pain is supposed to, push us beyond our insecurities and help us, especially help others. Good.
In Overland Park, Peyton Headley, KMBC 9 News.
I want to thank you guys all for being here today to take more time out of your day to learn about tissue, eye, and organ donation. The Gift of Life organization is doing incredible things in our community, and because of them, more lives are being saved. I grew up in the Kansas City area and started taking dance at the age of 10. I was on the competitive dance team at my dance studio, and I was the captain of my high school drill team. Being a dancer was all I wanted to be. So when I was accepted at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, as a dance major, I was thrilled. I moved to Las Vegas not knowing a soul, and very excited to make my dancing dreams come true. Being a dance major, you had to take 3 semesters of Pilates. Pilates was demonstrated in that video that was shown before the presentation. Pilates is a full body workout that creates symmetry and balance throughout your body. It also creates strength in your core and your smaller muscles. Shortly after starting college, I developed chronic knee pain and was advised by an orthopedic surgeon to get surgery. I expressed the outcome of this to my Pilates teacher at UNLV, and she said, "You don't need surgery, you need Pilates." So she created a protocol that was Pilates-based for me to do, and it rehabilitated my knees. From there, my heart felt complete, and I knew that Pilates was what I had been searching for. UNLV has a Pilates certification program that I went through. I also became their master teacher trainer. My teacher, Dolly, took me graciously under her wings and gave me the confidence to open my own studio, as well as the experience to grow as an instructor. In 2005, when I was 25 years old, I moved back to Kansas City and opened my own Pilates studio in Overland Park, Kansas. I spent a decade pouring my heart and soul into my studio, and we've grown 3 times. We've moved to three locations because we were accommodating our expansion. I have certified and trained hundreds of Pilates instructors, and then when I was 35, I had my first son, and 3 years later, I had my second. My life was very full and very, very busy. In August of 2019, I started to experience symptoms of fatigue and nausea. At first, I didn't take it very serious because I considered myself to be a healthy and active woman, but the symptoms started to progress and didn't go away. So 3 weeks later, I went to see my doctor. He wasn't concerned either. He said it was possibly something that I was eating and gave me a prescription for anti-nausea medication. 4 days later, my eyes turned bright yellow, which can indicate liver concerns. So I went back to my doctor's office and I demanded that they do blood work. The following day they called me and told me that my liver enzymes were highly elevated and I needed to go to the closest emergency room immediately. From there, I was sent in an ambulance to the University of Kansas health system. They sent me directly up to the ICU and started to do more labs and a liver biopsy. The following day, they came back and told me that my liver had been damaged 40 to 50% caused by autoimmune hepatitis. Autoimmune hepatitis is an autoimmune disease that creates issues with liver inflammation and can lead to liver failure. So at the age of 39 years old, I was told that without a liver transplant, I only had 90 days to live. This is when I learned about the MELD score. It's the model for end-stage liver disease. It's a calculator that estimates the survival probability with end-stage liver disease. It consists of 3 things: your INR, which is your international normalized ratio. It's a blood test to test the blood clot, to see how fast your blood clots. Also, your serum total bilirubin. It's another blood test to test the amount of bilirubin that is used to assess your liver function. And then lastly, your serum creatinine. It measures the amount of creatinine in your blood to assess how well your kidneys are filtering. The score estimates the risk of death within 90 days without a transplant. My score remained above 25. I spent the next 2 weeks in the hospital undergoing a battery of tests. I met with the liver team and the liver transplant team, and that consisted of surgeons, nurses, hepatologists, dietitians, financial advisors, social workers, and therapists. I also had to undergo medical testing, which consisted of cardiology, my dentist, and gynecologist. The results from all of these tests and my MELD score were presented to the transplant selection committee. And then they decided that I was approved to be on the National Transplant Board. In fact, I was placed number 1 at the University of Kansas Health System. My numbers were stable enough to be discharged and wait at home in the hopes that I would receive a transplant. During that time, my health deteriorated quickly. I went from teaching 25 Pilates classes per week, running my own business, to taking care of my boys, to barely being able to get out of bed. I was on prednisone, and from the liver disease caused me to gain 30 pounds of fluid buildup. My muscles began to wither away, and it took every ounce of my energy just to take a shower. My hopes were high, my spirits were up, and I'm not gonna lie and say I wasn't scared. The next few weeks were challenging, but I had a sense of peace from God that everything would work out. We may not all share the same religious beliefs in this room, but I'm sharing with you how I was able to stay grounded and survive this time in my life. Sometimes we have to be brave enough to accept the things that we cannot change, and to trust, and patient enough to trust God's timing. I chose to accept my reality and took the appropriate actions by getting a power of attorney, which is the power that someone can act upon your behalf. And I prepared myself mentally and physically for the surgery and the recovery. My family, friends, instructors, clients were overwhelmingly amazing, my mom and instructors took over the studio, and we had family members to watch our boys. On October 2nd, 2019, I got the call from the hospital that there was a donor matched for me. And what that means is it had the same blood type that I did, and it could also fit my body size. On October 3rd, the following day, was my transplant surgery. Almost immediately, there were near fatal complications. I developed a blood clot that went into my lungs and resulted in a pulmonary embolism. Then the blood clot traveled into my heart, and I have a PFO in my heart, which is a flap, and the flap opened. The blood clot then went into my brain, resulting into 4 minor strokes. And then the blood clot dissipated. They immediately stopped the surgery, took me down to radiology, and inserted an IVC filter to help prevent more blood clots from happening. They kept me sedated for 24 hours to make sure I was okay, and by the grace of God, I woke up the following day and they completed the surgery. My pain level after surgery was unbearable. I had to use my upper body to get up and down. The fluid in my body that had been built up from the prednisone and liver disease very slowly started to decrease. I remained in the hospital for 2 more weeks and was relieved to go home to my family. After my liver transplant surgery, my body was weak. My muscles were depleted. My ability to use my core was completely gone. My lower back was locked up and my entire body was stiff. However, I was absolutely determined to get my strength back and live a life free of disease, pain, and fear. As soon as I arrived home, I began to walk on the treadmill. Very slowly, I started at 2 miles per hour and then increased it eventually to 4 miles per hour. I used light hand weights to build my upper body strength to help encourage my posture because I could not sit up straight. So I was doing that while my abdominal muscles were healing. 8 months after my transplant, my abdominal muscles were healed, and I cannot tell you how exciting that is for a Pilates instructor to be able to feel your abdominals burn again. After this, I started to use Pilates completely to rehabilitate my body. In November of 2019, I felt I was ready to send a letter to my donor's parents. To this day, it was the most challenging letter I have ever written. In January of 2020, my donor's mom wrote back to me, and she included the following about her son. His name was Jason. He was 29 years old. He was an executive chef. He volunteered his summers at a camp with kids who had disabilities. He was proud to be a part of the honor guard, and he was greatly loved. I'm honored that I have a relationship with my donor's parents. We share special times together. Trying to understand why things happen to ourselves and to others is difficult. However, I don't think we get to know why. We just get to see the light that comes from the darkness. The following is what Sharon, Jason's mom, wrote to me. I thank God for taking care of Jason and for bringing you and your family into our lives. He knows how much comfort you have given me, and I pray to him all the time to keep you and your family healthy. If it wasn't for Jason's gift of life and the peace and faith you gave me, I don't think I would have made it. I celebrated my 5-year anniversary on October 3rd of my liver transplant surgery, and I feel stronger than ever despite the numbness that remains below my incision. I have learned how to take better care of myself and not push my body beyond its capabilities. Living a transplant life can be discouraging at times because there's no guarantee on how long the donor or the organ donor will sustain. I take anti-rejection medication to keep my body from rejecting the organ and to keep the autoimmune hepatitis at bay. I was given a second chance of life, and because of someone's loss, I owe it to myself to take as good a care of myself as possible. The storms we face in life are opportunities for us to grow. to share our story, to help others, and to push us beyond our insecurities. Don't let the things that happen to you define you. I was given 90 days to live, and because of Jason's courageous act, I was given a second chance. Every day is a new opportunity to rise up again. Baby steps soon become giant leaps, and a positive outlook in life soon becomes a light shining bright for all to see. Don't let failure be your final. The ones that get up after endlessly getting knocked down are the ones that will prevail. And these are the 3 things that I live my life by. Keep moving. You have to keep moving, no matter what. You've got to keep moving your body. You've got to keep going, and most importantly, you have to keep believing in yourself. Thank you.